Viewers, thank you for coming and tuning in. My name is Joel. This evening I want to talk about stigma. Stigma, not just stigma as a thing, but this time it is stigma in HIV. As you remember, on 1st of December this year, we celebrated World AIDS Day. In Uganda, when we talk about AIDS, it is something that began a long time ago. In 1982, it was well defined and we even named it Slim. Now, when I talk of AIDS here in Uganda, I'm talking about Slim. It began, it killed very many people. And at that time, few scientists knew about HIV, knew about AIDS, so it costed a lot in learning and teaching people about HIV. And actually, at the end of the day, I must confess that at least more than 90% of Ugandans know about HIV, AIDS, commonly known as Slim. Now, so when I talk about stigma, I'm talking about something that comes as a result of what many people know. Stigma is a feeling, a low feeling of one's self, how a person totally feels and defines him or herself in regard to a given subject, making that person not to like a disclosure of what is happening around himself. It is a low feeling. You feel low. You feel you don't need anybody to hear about it. It is something that you want to keep for yourself. You don't need people to know all what it is. So when it comes to HIV AIDS, you want closed ears. People shouldn't hear. You want people not to know. You want to keep it a secret. You think that when people come to know, they will treat you differently. So that inability to open up, that ability to keep something for yourself and hide, let me say, is what I term as stigma. Stigma has nothing much which is good. Because when I talk of HIV and I say, oh, here, since 1982, we have known about HIV AIDS, it means we know how it spreads. We know what happens when you get HIV. We know what happens when you have AIDS. Let me specifically talk about AIDS. AIDS is a collection of diseases because your immunity is low. So these diseases come and they gain chance of distracting you, disturb your body, and actually make you unwell. We all know that when a person is unwell, even if he has a good job, he can't attend to his job regularly. Even if he has a good earning, he can't get that earning regularly. Even when he gets the earning, he spends more in managing these ailments that come. So AIDS is something that affects us. It affects us directly by getting sick and indirectly. It affects our families, it affects our friends, it affects many things around us. So that thing called AIDS has a total disturbance. Whether you have stigma or no stigma, it disturbs us. I will not say equally, but I will say it disturbs all of us. So I would still say that here in the country, everyone has been affected. Whereas some are infected, but others are affected. So it affects people psychologically, economically, socially, educationally, in many things. It affects us in many areas. Now, if we are to fight the stigma that this disease brings, we need to look at the disease itself and look at its impact. and then see what do we miss and what can we put right. So what we now miss mostly is we have not all come out as a team to fight the stigma in people living with AIDS. AIDS is a chronic disease, but this chronic disease is caused by HIV, which attacks our body cells. That means that if we can help our body cells to stay stronger and fight the infections that come afterwards, then we can be living without AIDS. We will not have the disease. That means if we stop AIDS from coming, then the stigma will not come. If I'm fearing people to see me sick and I remain on my ARVs, those are antiretroviral drugs, and I don't get the ailments, how will I develop the stigma? We need to fight stigma from the word go. In Uganda, we have a system. When we test you and you have HIV, we start you on treatment. Previously, people were put on Septrin and other drugs first, then they go on ARVs, which is not there today. Today, you are positive, start treatment. So when you start treatment, that means that we are suppressing the activities of the virus. And we keep monitoring the viral load. The other time we were monitoring so much the CD4. Now we monitor so much the viral load. So when we monitor the viral load, we are sure of how best you can live a good life. So if you live a good life, you can quickly fight stigma. Stigma does a lot of bad things. You will be very sick. You can even die, not dying because of the disease, but because of that stigma. Gentlemen, we can fight stigma. Stigma has never caused anything good. It only causes things which are bad. Let us fight these bad things. Let us fight stigma. Let our brothers and sisters live a good life. Imagine, since 1982 to date, we know about HIV and we can manage it. So we can still fight stigma, and that is all. And then we live a good life, a good community, we have good children. We have many things which are good. Joel is my name. I appreciate that you have tuned in today, and I still encourage you to share this video, and also I encourage you to keep tuning in and watch other videos in regard to health. Thank you very much, and have a very good weekend. Bye.